Meantime, not a fantastic day for the renewable sector. As we know, of course, this Prime Minister, one of the first things he did, surrounded by the unions and the CEOs, many of which who flew on his private plane to that ridiculous job summit. How right was Peter Dutton about that, by the way? Well, of course, since making that decision and the fast race towards renewables, your power bills keep going up. Most recently, another 25% whack across the top of the head. What do we be replacing the energy system that's worked to this point in time with? Well, the power of sun and wind. And yes, renewables well and truly plays a part. Eventually may well end up becoming the dominant part. But as we've told you for 10 years, it costs an awful lot of money. And take your pick from the CSIRO with $1 trillion all the way through to net zero groups who say it's $1.9 trillion to build all this stuff. So I do take a little bit of notice when the head of the Bureau of Meteorology sort of belled the cat that if one of the major sources of our energy is going to be wind farms, guess what happens during the process of the years that are hotter than the cycle when things are colder? There's less wind, which means less power.
All of our models at the moment are pointing to those El Nino conditions, and so whilst the summer ahead we're likely to see more sunshine, we're likely to see less wind in the same parts of the country where a lot of electricity generation and transmission occurs. And so this interplay between having more sun available for solar generation vis-a-vis the impacts on energy distribution systems is going to be a tricky one for the electricity managers to manage over the summer ahead.
So hang on, as the world gets hotter there'll be less wind? That's inconvenient, because isn't that one of the solutions to make sure that there's going to be cooler temperatures? Oh no, that's right, China of course is able to do whatever it wants till 2030. Who makes all this stuff, by the way? China. Geez, we're a brilliant country sometimes, aren't we? We go from being able to stand on our own 2 feet to literally hopping, and now we're not even able to do that. Of course, the other great solution is more lithium batteries. And you may well have noticed there was a story today that one of the batteries which is being put in by the Queensland government to try to accelerate a place to store all of this place when the wind eventually starts blowing again. Well, of course, there was a major battery fire. And on the very same day that battery fire, guess what the Queensland government announced today? They're going to build more of them. But unlike a fire that may well happen in a traditional power station, residents in Queensland today were told, don't go outside because there's toxic fumes in the air. Get ready for your future, Australia.
The blazing batteries are impossible to extinguish with water, foam or anything else. So the advice from the manufacturer to firefighters is to sit back and let it burn itself out.
Just making sure that the fire doesn't spread to any of the other batteries or any of the other infrastructure in the area.
It's still smouldering today.